All right, let's kick this thing off. Just a couple of things before we get to Ashton. I want to give her as much time as I can because she's totally awesome. Hopefully you guys have signed up for the Beachbody Team Spirit thing that I sent you a link for. Should have been under Team Diesel Nation under Becky. I think we're like the largest team in Beachbody, even though we're not officially Team Diesel Nation. We are kind of like a cousin. But that's it's gonna be pretty cool. The other thing is Core to Force. Guys, it's gonna be a while before we have another launch. So it would behoove you, especially if you're looking to start a new program, to do that one because that's what everybody's looking at right now. It's the hottest thing. I'm not always about doing whatever is new, but I just love it because I love combat. And I've done 2 workouts so far, and I'm drenched. I had to go change shirts because it's a killer. It really is. If you like cardio, which I don't, I hate it. But as far as MMA, I love that. It just kind of flies by. It's an awesome workout. So if that's kind of in your wheelhouse, it would behoove you to give that a shot because everyone is looking at it. Other than that, challenge group's going good. You guys are all participating and posting. I appreciate that. I think, we've added, 3 new coaches to our team this month? Brittany, you added 1, right? Okay. Yeah, so we have 3. That's awesome, super awesome. They're really excited to learn. They're pretty much going to start working on themselves, but they are learning the business as they go and sharing their journey as they go along. So that's important. Okay, that's all I've got. So I'm going to announce our special guest speaker, Ashton. We've been actually had to go back on Facebook to see how long we've been friends, and that's like 2013. And I scrolled down to see all of our conversations, and 99% of them were about the Dallas Cowboys, which is totally cool. But she's super inspirational. She's lost like 100 pounds. She's been a coach for 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. I got other stuff right here. She is the creator of, I can't see without my glasses, the founder of Believe to Achieve Team. And she's a 2-star diamond. And I've watched pretty much every video she's ever made. And she's like one of the first people. I became a coach in 2011, and her transformation was like, holy wow. So she caught my attention, and I've been following her ever since. So without further ado, Ashton, I'll give it to you.
Thank you. All right. So as he said, I'm Ashton. I am going to warn you right now, my team, my nickname is Squirrel. So I will be off into millions of different directions. So yeah, that's just me. I'm a big time squirrel. I'll be off in other things, but I usually just write down a few notes and then I kind of let everything go. I'm also going to let you know I'm big into my faith. So if I speak about my faith, please don't take any offense to it. Just let it go. But let me ask you guys a question here, because there's 2 things that I've kind of wanted to bring up in this call, and that'll determine on where it goes. How many of you guys have trouble inviting? Do you kind of feel iffy about inviting, or you're like, I gotta invite people today? Hands up, yes? I think there was a few of you guys. Okay. All right. So I'm a very hands-on person, so I'm going to be asking you guys a lot of questions. Love participation. I'd probably throw out little gifts if I were you, Charlie, for participation. But anyways, so does anyone want to say anything as far as maybe why you guys have trouble inviting? What's something that comes up when you guys start to invite, or anything specific? I've got team on too. You guys can speak up. Don't worry, I might throw in some stuff here too.
You guys, don't be shy. This is what it's all about. Nobody's going to judge you. This is how you learn. Question. Ashton's been doing this for a long time. She's really good at this stuff.
I don't know if I'd call it the whole comfort zone thing, but it's hard to break out, you know what I mean, and just start randomly inviting people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. So are you still, as far as you coaching, have you been working with your warm market, or are you building new relationships right now?
Trying to do the whole new relationship thing. I'm not a big fan of the cold call,
Okay.
if you know what I mean. But it seems to work for a lot of people, so I don't know. I might try it, I guess.
Awesome. Okay. So let me ask you guys this. Okay. And I want to see hands here. Do you guys think that if someone started like working out for 30 minutes a day and started they followed our meal plans daily, do you think that their life would improve? How many would say yeah? Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, if somebody takes 10 to 15 minutes a day to like soak their mind up in personal development, do you think that their life would change for the better? Yeah, I do. And if somebody makes a genuine conversation, like a genuine connection with someone every single day, somebody new, just adding value to their life, do you think their life will improve? Yeah? Okay, what if somebody takes a couple minutes out of their day to just like recognize and lift somebody up? Do you think that their life would be better? Right? Absolutely. So I'm sure you're thinking, like, just take a couple minutes. What does that sound like to you guys? What do those 4 things sound like? Those are our 4 vital behaviors, right? So I'm sure you're sitting there like, oh, duh. So something that I'm very passionate about, and if you guys heard Charlie say I don't want to say my team, I always say our team, but I was the founder of Believe to Achieve Team, and I'm big on belief. I truly believe that one of the number one things that you'll see in successful coaches, well, anyone successful versus someone who's not successful, is that they have their belief system. It's all in the mind. And what happens is when we start to reach out to people, or when we're starting to invite, like you're bringing up the comfort zone, Tom's like, it's kind of like, I putting it out there and everything. You guys have to first build your mind up before you get into inviting. And the reason why is because I truly believe that everyone's life can change for the better if they become a coach, right? Our 4 vital behaviors can truly impact someone's life. They can improve themselves and everyone around them. So who deserves the opportunity to become a coach? Everyone. Every single person. That doesn't mean that it's for everybody, but everybody I know that if they plugged into the 4 vital behaviors that we have to offer, that their life will dramatically change. And the reason that I have this is because I have been a coach for 5 years. And let me take you back to this girl 5 years ago. I was someone who was so addicted to Facebook games. I played Farm Town. Oh my goodness, the hours that I would spend on the way that my farm was set up and everything. I was obese. I was 238 pounds. I had back surgery in January of 2011. That's kind of where my whole journey to get healthy and fit started. I was like, all right, I need to be there for my kids. But I was so selfish and, worried why everybody else's life was so much better and why my life wasn't better. And you always hear that grass is greener on the other side. That's a bunch of bull crap. The grass is greener where you water it. It's that movie reel. Like, we see how everyone else's life is like this and that, and it comes down to, it's just a movie reel. It's like that trailer. Like, we really don't know what's going on. But everyone, I believe, can change their life for the better. I quit smoking. I was someone who got kicked out of high school, not once, but twice. And people who know and see my Facebook now, they're like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You used to do drugs too. You did this. You were a Facebook addict, like on games. Oh yeah, I was. It wasn't until I took one single step, that made a big difference. And if you guys haven't read The Compound Effect, or you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend that book be done, because this is like one of the first books that you'll hear the coaches talk about. Oh, slight edge and compound effect. Okay, I didn't start listening to that until like 2 days ago, and I'm almost done with it. I was like, man, I should have listened to this when I was a first coach, huh? But anyways, I'm sort of a rebel. I try not to be, but that's kind of like if somebody tells me what to do, I'm a pearl. Do you guys know the Danny Johnson like gems? Maybe you guys do Josh Coates. He does animals. I'm a golden retriever. I'm very much a pearl. So if you tell me what to do, I'm like, don't yell at me. I'll do it. I'll figure it out. I'll get it on my own, but don't tell me what to do. But yeah, I think it's easy for everybody to think that like we need business builders and we need to earn a 6-figure income, which how many of you guys have that as a goal? Like you guys have a big, huge why as to why you guys are doing this, then that's great. But sometimes we're like, oh, you gotta be a business builder. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. And really, that's not the only picture of success here. When we have coaches that are discount coaches, or we have coaches that, even just want to make $100 a week, that's a huge impact in somebody's life. Like $100, we can't write that off. That's somebody's grocery bill, But what I do know is that this opportunity will change their life. If they plug those 4 things in that we talked about every single day, their life will change for the better. I honestly believe that everyone's life can improve for the better becoming a coach. Does that kind of help you guys just think about that for a second? Like, we don't go into this like, oh, I need to invite this person and this person because I want to get them in my challenge group and everything. Or it's, I want success club points. And I'm sure you guys hear over and over, that success club points are just a mile marker. It's really about the lives that we change and everything. But back to the whole action stuff, something that he talked about in the compound effect was that willpower is not enough to do. It comes down to why power. Your why has to be so powerful and so strong. And I just broke some of my coaches down. I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't think I'm really a softie. I don't have a tough side. But you have to have a strong enough why that's going to drive you, that's going to push you to that next level. That's going to make you want to get up and do those things that you didn't want to do. Have you all sat down and just really thought about your why? Put it down there, something that want to make you cry? Yeah. Okay. So anyways, as far as everything goes, it's small actions. It's your guys' actions small, daily, consistent actions. You have to stay consistent in what you do. And it has to be every single day that you're doing these small things that will add up to a dramatic change. And I think one of the biggest things for us is that we don't see the benefits right away. We start to, or we could be a coach for 3 months and we're like, I'm not really helping anybody. But truly, honestly, you are, because people are watching you do what you are doing every single day. I had someone who just signed up as a coach probably, I want to say 6 months ago, who I've been a friend with since 2012. He has been a fitness person since 2012. And I can't even count the amount of times that I invited her to come and join. I'm like, why are you not a coach? Here, I'm banging my head off the wall. Are you serious? You do health and fitness. You have a family. You have these goals. Why are you not a coach? And finally, she came to me, 5 years later and was like, I'm ready now. And I'm like, really? But it was because she watched and watched and watched. And it wasn't just my physical transformation that she watched, because my physical transformation, it was 18 months that I lost 100 pounds. And then, of course, I just had a baby 3.5 months ago. But it was my whole aspect of life that has changed, just the difference that she's seen in the person that I became. So people are going to watch you every single day, and they're going to be like, hey, is Becca showing up? Wait a minute, she's showing up every day. But if you start to flake off where you're like, oh, I'm going to do it one day, but then not the next, do you think that they're going to want to join you? Do you think that they're going to build that trust with you? No. It comes down to the small. And again, here's another thing from the compound effect. Sorry, I'm just like stuck in that book right now. But, he's like, it's not about doing 5,000 things like really good. It's about doing like a half a dozen things really good, like 50,000 times. It creates that. If you haven't heard the whole penny effect, I brought that up in our team call one of the times too. But if somebody came to you and was like, hey, I'll give you $3 million, or you can take a penny doubled every single day for 31 days. Most people right off the bat, and even if it was me, if I didn't know about this already, I'd be like, give me the $3 million. Like, hello, right? You can go away. Take your penny doubled. Well, the way that he put it through, and I don't have the exact numbers, but like day 5, you only have like 16 cents. And then like day 10, you only have like so much. But it comes down to when you're at that 30-day and 31-day, over that time, that small amount is going to create to $10 million. Almost 3 times the amount of that $3 million if you would let just that one single thing double every single day. And that's the same way with our actions. How many of you guys feel, let me say this. How many of you guys can get really flustered because you feel like you're doing a lot of things and it's just kind of like, right? Okay. One thing that I can tell you right now is it does come down to that belief. It comes down to your mindset, and it comes down to really plugging yourself in. For me, if it wasn't for me finding God in this journey and, just really relieving everything, it's what happens is we overcomplicate things. And this business really is not complicated. I can't stress enough how it is just simply the 4 vital behaviors. And you're probably like, oh my gosh, girl, I've heard this over and over and over, and I'm doing 4 vital behaviors and I'm still stressed out. Listen, the one way that I've learned how to stay structured is by tracking down on my BATs. I can pull out all my business activity trackers. I've been a coach for 5 years. 5 years. I didn't start tracking until probably this year. And I want to like slap myself in the face for that. Because tracking makes a big difference. If I don't know what I'm doing, how do I know what I need to be doing? It's a big thing. And even in the compound effect, that's what he brought up today. And I was like, I should have listened to this book. I really should have listened to this book, because he talked about, for an example, if you have a challenger who wants to lose weight, making them write down every single thing that they eat, having a notepad, every little thing. Or if you're trying to save money, having a notepad and writing down every single expense, even if it's 50 cents that you're plugging in a meter, you're going to be able to see where everything is. And sometimes even too, you're like, I really just don't want to get that out of my pocket and write this down. So you're not going to spend it, or you're not going to eat it, right? Sounds really simple and everything. But back to the whole stress, I want to tell you guys to make this less complicated. I wake up every single morning and I'm like, you know what? This business is simple, but it's hard. It is hard work. I'm not going to lie. This is hard work in what we do, but it's such blessed work. I take, again, I like to scroll off, sorry, but I take screenshots of messages that get sent to me that are like, Ashton, you've really inspired me to do this and that. And I keep them saved on my folder in my computer, so that if I wake up and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like I can't do this. Like this isn't for me. Because guess what? After 5 years, I still have thoughts that come to me. I just call that the enemy. And, your mind's going to attack you over and over and over again. It's an everyday single battle. And that's why personal development is huge. It really is one of the, I can't say it's one of the number one things, because again, of course, if we didn't do the 4 vital behaviors, it wouldn't be called vital behaviors if we didn't need them all in our life. But the personal development, if you don't have your mindset right, you're going to be attacked. You're not going to have any confidence. You're going to be stressed out. You're going to think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And it's going to run over everything else. Then soon you're going to start to slacken your workouts. You're going to be doing T25 one day, then you're going to be doing Brazil butt lift the next day, and then turbo fire the next day. And you're not going to stay consistent with one single program, which will not only help you in your journey, but is also showing people, hey, they're doing this. They're getting this done. It's really that simple. But so I brought up 2 quotes here that really hit for what I was talking about in this. But if your actions inspire others to dream more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. That's by John Quincy Adams. So back to the whole thing when you guys were like, yeah, that would really change and improve someone's life. Never be afraid to offer this opportunity to somebody. Never let your mind be like, do I want to message them or not? Like, do I want to invite them? I know that they don't have the money for this, but because right then and there, it's done. It's completely done. You're not, no, it's not going to go the way that you want it to until you're like, you know what? They don't have the money for this. And this is more reason for them to join this, to help them get out of debt or help them improve their life. Because I've seen people over this 5 years come from having nothing. In fact, I didn't even have an income when we started. And let me tell you, when we started, we didn't have challenge packs. I had to buy Insanity by itself and Shakeology by itself. And let me tell you, that was like a $350 expenses. When we even started, I don't know if you guys know about this, Charlie, maybe I've told you guys, but for Success Club, we only earned 1 point for every single person that purchased Shakeology. And we had to sign up a coach every single month. If we didn't, you could have 7 points by all like your customers or whatever. But if you didn't have a coach sign up, you didn't get Success Club. So that's something that I should talk more about on our team, because if you can even sign one coach a month, like embed that into your life. But back to it, like I said, I squirrel off way too much. And feel free to pop up and ask questions if you guys too. You could unmute yourself. This isn't like me just talking and whatever. I want you guys to be interacted into this. But get your mindset off right off the bat. Like I said, I don't let people tell me excuses. There's good excuses and they're bad excuses, but ultimately they're all excuses. It doesn't matter what it is. If somebody doesn't have the income for this, this is me. The first thing that pops in my head, I'm like, they need this. This is a problem to their solution. If they're telling me they don't have time, no, it's just the value that it's the value on it. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. So if you don't have 24 hours in a day, then just tell me, because then I could probably understand. But if you have 24 hours in a day, then you have the same amount of time that I do. I've got 6 kids. I run my own business. I'm very involved in my church. I was going to schooling while I was a full-time single mother of 3. If I can do this, anybody can do this. Like, you can't tell me that if you don't have 30 minutes a day to work out, to improve your life, to mentally prepare yourself and inspire others every single day, then do you really think that your life is going the way that you want it to be going? Absolutely not. So there's one thing that, that I talk to my coaches about when they're speaking to, when objections come up. The number one question that you should ask people is, let me ask you this. Where would you like to be a year from now? Because that really will start to get people to think about where they want to go, what they want to do. And then it's like, then asking them the question, if they're like, oh, I want to do this or this or this. And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing now to accomplish that? People start to think, oh, crap. Well, let me tell you, nothing, right? They know. We all know what we are doing in our lives, what we need in our lives, and what we want in our lives. It's a subconscious mind. I bring back to I went to certify myself as a John C. Maxwell speaker, and we had this event where we had juggling balls, and we had to partner up with someone, and we had to teach them how to throw, how to juggle. And we're like, all right, where's the instructions at? Because I don't even know where to start. And like the first question I asked, I'm like, are you left-handed or right-handed? I'm like, hold 2 balls in one hand and then hold on, let me read these here. Well, when it came down to it, they came up there and he's like, explained the whole reason behind why they did this. What happens is we like to try to teach in a manner of telling people what to do. And it doesn't come down to that. If you guys have ever heard of John C. Maxwell, he has a great book called Great Leaders Ask Good Questions, or Good Leaders Ask Great Questions, whichever way it is around that. But when you can ask the right questions, we all have answers in our subconscious mind. All of us do. So instead, what he did was he's like, you need to ask questions. So if somebody's throwing up the ball and they miss it, they're like, well, what do you think you did that time? Well, maybe they caught it over here and they did something different. Well, why did that one work? Oh, I threw the ball up higher. Okay, great. Like, they're going to tell themselves what they need in their lives. Let's see here. Where are we at for time? 8:30. Okay, good. So biggest thing is getting your mindset right. Like I said, this is the biggest. I'm all about belief. My team will tell you that. Our whole mission statement for our Believe to Achieve team is, I want to inspire people to believe. That's what I want to do. I want to inspire them to believe by showing them how to love themselves, by showing them how to improve their lives, by showing them all those things so that they can achieve the goals. And it starts with your mind. And I can't remember who said it or what it was about, but it was like, we have this trigger, like in our hearts, we know what we want to do and how we want to help people. And that will send like the waves up to our brain, like, okay, well then we need to do this. But then once it comes down to our fingers to where we need to start to go, it's like we lose sight of what our heart was telling us to do. So I don't want you guys to do that. I want you guys to stay focused as to why you want to do this. Or let me ask you this too. How many of you guys joined this business to help others? You guys wanted to help others, right? Okay. So usually when somebody asks you, like, what's your why? And you're like, well, I want to help others. Okay, let me tell you, you don't need this business to genuinely help others, right? You can help others without this business. So that pulls back to your why power. So you can truly help people without this business, doing it all on your free time. So when you get into your why, don't tell me that it's just to help others, because that is an automatic with this business. We are going to help improve other people's lives. So why are you doing this for you? What makes it for you? Just to give you an idea here, my why is to build an income for my family that has nothing to do with my spouse. And there's a few reasons why. Number one, I'll never talk death into my marriage. But if something were to happen, I want to be able to take care of our kids. I don't want to have to fall back on something. My spouse is in the military. If something happens to him, am I going to be stuck in a position to where I don't, what am I going to do? That's why I want to do this. I do this for my family, to show them that, hey, my mom works hard. She works hard on her health and fitness. She works hard in her business, and she's working hard for our life. You need to have a why that's so powerful that makes you cry. And it came down to the whole fact that during my journey, I became homeless at a point in my life because I had a 6-year breakup. And I was like building the business, but I didn't really need to expand it, if that makes any sense there. I was okay with making this and this, because my boyfriend was making this and, and we had a house and everything. Well, I couldn't afford the house. So who got the house? He did. I was there for about 6 months. Things were kind of, and then it left me in a position with my 2 oldest to be going back and forth for houses, to have food freeze in my car. And it was a nightmare. I hardly saw my youngest son for the first month and a half. until it became more stable. And it was something that I'll never go through again. And that's what pushes me every single day to wake up, to grab my business activity tracker, and to get the things done that I know is going to help people's lives and, of course, help my family's lives. One thing that I can recommend too is, for me, I'm a squirrel. I just told you guys that. I've probably been in so many different calls or so many different places already that you're like, oh my goodness, what is she talking about? I have to sit down with this thing and I'm like, all right, let's go here. Yes, I did this. And I can send this over to Charlie, but me and another coach on our team, we created this business activity tracker because the ones that they have, like, I needed to break every little thing down. That's just the way that I am, because I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I do this and this. So what my business activity tracker is it's being a proof the product works, so your Shakeology and workout, personal development, national wake-up call. Of course, that's only going to be on one day unless you decide to listen to another wake-up call on another day. Team call, posting 3 to 5 times a day, making contacts, invites to challenge group, invites to business group, checking into my challenge group, checking into team page, recognizing a challenger, recognizing a coach, following up with challengers, following up with runners, Facebook messages, emails, and then e-cards in your online office. So like every single Friday is the day that I send people who purchase from me, I send them a message. And then every single Friday it's for a week. So every single week I go from Friday to Thursday of the previous week. And I'll let them know a message just saying, thank you for your purchase. This is, we're starting our new challenge group on this date, da-da-da-da-da. And then new clients as well, I send them saying, hey, I'm your free coach. And I also try to look them up on Facebook and get connected with them as soon as I can. But I do that every single Friday. But you know what? If I don't have it on here, I'd probably forget. It's just, that's how squirrely I am, because I'm doing all these other things. And that's where we can get stressed out. So I sit down, and also like sharing a post on our team page. I like to share a post from whether it's a coach on our team or even a top coach that I'm like, wow, that was a great post, because it's going to show other coaches, hey, this is a great post. They're not like, join my team or join this challenge group. Which I think sometimes you need to put it out there like, hey, I'm looking for 5 people to join this challenge group, and you're putting in a story with it, but it's not something where that's what you're putting every single day. Otherwise, that's like the beginning of my coaching. I mean, that's all it was. It was pretty sad when we pull up our post and I'm like, oh, that's all I talked about, huh? And then I also have on the bottom people to follow up with. So follow up with future challengers, future coaches, and then new friends. And then I keep these. And so then after a few weeks, I can go back to the people for the future follow-ups and stuff and make sure that I've connected with them, because I talk to a lot of people. But yeah, if you guys want that, I can definitely send that to you. But what I need to do, again, like I said, like kind of scrolled off, I have to sit down and then set a timer for 10 minutes. So I don't look at the fact of, oh, I've got to invite 10 people. I have to go for 10 people right now. Because with me, I am very busy. I have a lot of things that I do, and I don't want to say busy. I'm very productive, okay? There's a difference from busy and productive. Busy doesn't mean you're productive. But I don't focus, and I don't like to tell my coaches, oh, make sure that you're doing 10 invites a day. No, you put a timer on for 10 minutes. If you get to 3 invites, hey, that's okay. Go to the next thing. Get that done, because it comes down to the daily consistent actions. Like I said, even if you're inviting 1 person every single day, it's going to create a compound effect. But let's say you focus on inviting 10 people a day, and then all of a sudden you need to do messages, and you're doing all of your messages in a day, and you totally forget to put in your personal development. Not going to do anything. Whereas if you're at least getting in your 10 minutes of personal development, and me, I listened to about an hour today because I was cleaning. This is one of my cleaning days, so I'm doing all my laundry, which is mounds and mounds, because, 6 kids can add up. And then dishes or whatever. I'm listening to personal development. I'm not watching TV. I'm not sitting there just whatever. I'm staying productive with my day, with my time. But so I have to put that timer on for 10 minutes. And so like messages, Facebook messages, I used to start from bottom, the first person who messaged me, and work my way up. Now I'm like, all right, if I've got 10 minutes, I'm going to scroll through first. Did any of my coaches message me? Did anybody who I'm looking for as far as future challengers or future coaches, did they message me? I go from there. And then if I feel like, usually my messages might add up to 20 minutes, just because there's usually about 50 or 60 messages sitting there. Why? Because 10 minutes a day I put on to invite people. And what I do is I work off my Facebook list, and I'm like, all right, I go to this person's page, I go onto their page, I genuinely like and comment on some of their pictures or posts, then I'll send them a message. What will I send them a message about? Well, it depends. I kind of just let the Holy Spirit lead me, and I'll either send an invite. It depends on how long I've been talking to them for too. So I'll send them a genuine invite like, hey, Brittany, I don't know if this interests you or not, or, you know what, let me actually pull this up so I'll read you verbatim what I say here. As soon as I can find it. So I'm just like, hey, Brittany, how are you? I really hope you don't mind me messaging you about something like this. I don't know if this interests you, but I'm running an online lifestyle journey group this month to help people start, restart, or continue to strive to reach their maximum potential through health and fitness, as well as mentally and emotionally. It's workouts, nutrition, motivation, and inspiration. It's never too late to join. Would you or anyone else you know be interested? That's about it. I'm not like, hey, you want to join my challenge group? No, like this is a lifestyle journey. That's what I call my groups. It's a lifestyle journey group. And this is what we do. You know, would you or anyone you know be interested? And why do I send that? And I can send it to anyone and everyone because it's going to impact their life. Doesn't matter who it is. It'll impact their life. I know that. If they don't want to improve their life, that's not my problem. I can't make them improve their life, but I know that it will. So I'll send them that message. Or I'll even just shoot them a follow-up. So if it's someone that like, I'm like, okay, I haven't really talked to them too much, I'll just be like, hey, Brittany, I saw a couple pictures of this and that, and I just wanted, you know, I personalize it to them to get to open up to a question so I can lead into forming, or maybe I haven't talked to them in a long time, and I want to know what's going on in their life, and I ask great questions about their family, about their occupation, because if someone doesn't like their job, ding, 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 hey, let's get you out of your job. If someone doesn't have enough time for their family, hello. Again, it's all these little things that I listen to. I want to find problems that they have, and I want to help fix them. That's why we're here as coaches. So I don't know how long your team calls go, if they go for 30 minutes or an hour. So
usually,
I don't know.
Usually about 45 minutes.
Okay. So do you guys, I didn't even get into social media. Do you guys have questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you tried Teamsy?
I have, but for me, it was way too complicated. And I don't mean it like it's not complicated, but I don't know. I felt really pressured to be into it. And I'm more of you have to really find out what works for you. Because I thought it was neat, but then I felt like tracking it on there. And then I was also trying to track some things on my paper and stuff. And it overwhelmed me. So I'm like, I'm done with that. And then I got back into my paper and pencil. And I don't have a binder. I should have my binder versus all these loose papers. But what I do is usually I'll have 4 papers, because 4 weeks, right, in a month. And what I do is any of the people that I need to follow up with, I add them onto that new week. Like if I'm like, okay, you know, I'm still going back and forth with them, so I'll write them down again on that future follow-up. And then once like I go through these people, whether I'm like, okay, they completely said no, I'll just cross them off my list, or I'll put them on that next week, I get rid of that paper.
I used it for the first 30 days, and then I canceled it because I felt that I was just going through the motions, and it was like a race to fill out everything to get it all done. So
Yep.
I threw it away, and then I thought about it, and I seen Mindy had a call with the guy who created it, and I was totally doing it wrong. So I tried it again, and now I love it. But I still use paper too. But it's great for like email your customers in your back office because it goes through your Gmail and it doesn't go straight to their spam. So I've had a lot. I've been using it, back office email for 5 years, and I've hardly ever got anyone respond. And just as I started using Teamsy, I've had 7 or 8 within the last couple of weeks. But I have to use paper too. I have to use both. But it's great to store everyone in there. Anytime I get a new contact, I put them in there because I'll get lost trying to use Facebook. I'll never see them again. It'd be like 3 months. Oh, I forgot about that guy.
It is. I mean, there's really so much and that's why like a lot of people overcomplicate because they're like trying to do what everybody else is doing, and it's really what works best for you. But as long as you're staying true to what you can do, and like I said with the teams, I thought it was great. I'm like, yes, and then all of a sudden it was just I felt like I was getting backed up and this and that, and I'm like, nope, I'm going back to what I do. And right after that, I knocked off like 10 coaches in 2 months and was like, all right, yep, I'm good. So yeah, so I mean, you really do have to find out what works for you, and sometimes there are days like, I don't know, my Saturdays I might forget to mark something, but I do the best that I can. And I'll share this really quick here too, as far as this is my Facebook friends list. If you guys haven't downloaded it, I highly recommend that you do it, because what I do is, every single year I will, or whenever I want to. Evernote too, love Evernote. But I go off my Facebook friends list, so I'll go down through them. And so I have color codes as far as, hey, greens are always potentials. Blues are coaches that are not a part of our downline. And I just, like I said, 10 minutes, I'll just go through and I'll go on their page and I'm like, all right, I'll like, comment, and then send them a message. Whether it's like the Teamsy, you guys know that if you've done the Teamsy, it's the whole connecting thing. So it might not even be a straight invite, but like I said, if I'm going for 10 minutes at a time going through these, there's at least probably 2 or 3 people that I'll end up inviting. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I really think that they'd be a great coach. Or maybe I've already talked to them about a challenge group since I've been on this for 5 years, but it was 2 years ago. I might be like, hey, I know that we talked about your goals and everything a couple of years ago. How are they coming along? Because you can always bring up what I like to say, it's, by the way, I've been meaning to ask you, I'm getting ready to start another lifestyle group, would you or anyone be interested? Did I completely lose all of you guys?
No.
Thinking.
Brittany?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned how we can get backed up, and that's something I've been struggling with since the beginning. Like some days I'm like, hey, I message 3 people. Some days I can't even message one because I look at that inbox of backed up messages and I don't know where to start. And I was using the weekly rhythm register from the Compound Effect at first, and I found it very helpful. But as for tracking your messages, you mentioned the business tracker. Is that the only document you use to track, or do you have other ways that you combine?
As far as my messages go, I usually just go through them and then I just check off. So I don't like write how many messages I go through. So let me ask you this. How long have you been a coach for?
I'll be 2 years December.
Okay. How much time do you think you spend like watching videos or like scrolling through like team stuff and listening to videos?
Used to be a lot more. Recently it hasn't been very much, maybe 10, 15 minutes a day.
Okay. So one thing that, I love videos, and I'm not sure how your team works, but like for me, we have our big team, and then we have another team, and then we have another team, and then we have like our team. So I'm a part of like 3 other team groups. And I remember I used to get so stuck in listening to like, oh, I got to do this and this and this. And if you listen or read The Compound Effect, you'll find out that we can learn all the information that we want, but until we place it into action, it's not going to be worth it. We can learn all this knowledge and stuff, and some things are great to listen to, but if you're listening to 10 to 15 minutes, that's part of your personal development. You know what I mean? So with messages and everything, do you feel like, are you trying to get to messages right away then, or you like?
I try to go by the business hours because it was getting in the way of my relationship with my family and everything. So I said, okay, I'm just going to message these people and I'm going to shut my phone off for the night. And then the next day I look and I have not just those messages, but all the other messages from all the other previous days, because sometimes I don't get to all of them. So
right.
they just kind of
okay. So something that I'll let you know right now is that if you're building relationships with people, you don't need to worry about getting to messages right away. Like that's another thing that plays a mind trick, and that's the whole thing is really mindset is going to either make or break what you do in your life. Like I used to think, oh, I've got to get to all these messages. People have lives. So not only like, you know, we have lives, so do other people. There's some people that don't go on Facebook every single day. So one thing, like my coaches will even know, I'm like, if you guys really need me, one of my coaches can speak up. What do you guys need to do? Text or call me. They know that they need to text or call me. Why? Because I'm not going to see your message right away. You know? So there's 2 things that I'll tell you here as far as my Facebook goes. So number 1, you see this 99 plus. Don't you guys ever touch your notifications ever again. I'm going to tell you right now. Right now. This was a number 1 tip that I learned. Okay? This came from Scotty Hobbs. And it was one of the, I used to go through, and I'll show you right now. I'm going to hit this 99 plus, but I'm sure it will come up very quick. I used to open this up, and I used to go through, and anybody that commented or tagged or whatever, I used to open it up in new links and have all these links on the side and comment on everything. You don't touch that notification. It's such a distraction, and it's so pointless because I'll tell you right now, your time is valuable. Number 1, people are going to know if that they need to get a hold of you. It's going to be on your news feed right here. It's going to be in your groups, which you should know how to make favorite groups. So all the groups that I decide that I want to go into are going to be over here. So if I need to check into them, I'll check into them. Some of them I'm not even in every day, but I still have them up as my favorites. Number 3, they're going to message me, or they're going to text me, or they're going to call me. If somebody tags me in something, I don't see it. If it's really that important, they know how to get a hold of me, or it's not going to happen. I'm not going to waste my time on little stuff. It's not that important. It's not that valuable to me. It's like that distraction. So I don't focus on that. My messages, I've only got 29, not too bad. Like I said, I go up on here, I'll go to see all, I'll go to unread messages, and then I'll start from the bottom, look through, see if I need to comment on certain people are like, hey, I really want to do that. But there's even people that we're talking about a challenge group. I'm not getting to them right away. It might be a few days before I get to them. That doesn't bother me. They know that I'm faithful. They know that I'm trustworthy, and they know that I'm there. And if they're like, wow, she didn't get back to me right away, doesn't that show them that, hey, I'm not just here for a sale. I want to make sure that I give you my time and my focus, and I'm going to give it to you when I give it to you. I'm not here just, hey, let's do this. Now, if you're at the end of the month and you need to hit your points or whatever, you're probably going to be going through those messages. But I highly recommend that's going through them in the beginning and stuff. But again, it's just, if you're giving 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes, I usually do 20 minutes for messages. I really do. you're going to run that daily. It's going to be consistent. If you're staying consistent, you're going to have those messages that you're going to go through. And it's going to, you know, I have a challenge group script that I go through, and it just walks it through it. And like I said, I don't know. I don't know how to put it other than if you're staying consistent, it's going to be fine. Like, don't focus on getting all of them done. Don't focus, because if somebody buys something and then you're like, oh crap. Hey, that's great. I'm so glad that you just bought that. You know, did your coach talk to you? Or, I mean, there's questions that you can ask, like, oh, did you get in your coach's challenge group? Well, I don't have a coach. Oh, great. You know, because most people, if you talk to them about it and they just go and sign up and they don't have your website, you can get them switched over. It's not a big deal. And I'm sure it's going to be within a 2 to 3 day period where you're not going to have to worry about it, right? Does that kind of help ease you a little bit?
Big time. Thank you.
I promise, like today I just probably went through all of, I don't know. I mean, there's times, especially like Sundays, I don't really do messages on Sunday. That's like I'll post and stuff, but I don't go through it. So let's see here.
I can attest that Ashton doesn't answer your messages right away.
Nope.
I was like trying to get information. It's like the next
I got a
day
question.
she would answer me. Damn.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
I sit in the cubicle all day and I'm bored to death. So if someone messages me, I'm like right on it because I'm bored. But I understand why you do that.
Yeah, it does. I feel like it shows a lot of value, though. I truly do. Like, you know, it's like, hey, I have a life. Other people have things too, and it's not just me wanting to throw you in there. And I'll have people be like, oh, what's my next step? And then they'll text me or message me again, and here's like 3 messages. I'm like, whoops. I'm like, all right, hey, so let's, you know, let them have the urgency for it. If you've built up that value, I can send Charlie some things or whatever, some information and stuff that you guys can look at. But yeah, it's really just, again, the small daily consistent actions that will really truly create that compound effect.
Ashton, was there ever a single time since you become a coach that you considered quitting?
Oh, I tried to quit on my coach in the very beginning 10 times. I actually had the letter and stamp ready to go. I was so flustered, and luckily, like, my coach was just like, oh, you can do this. She kept pumping me up, just saying, you can do it. And in the beginning, all she kept saying, we had no idea what the heck we were doing. Really, truly didn't. I kept building up people back and forth on our legs, not understanding to build up your weak leg. Just there's so much stuff that's like, oh my goodness, why didn't I? Oh, we stopped ourselves at 5 points, by the way. Oh, let's wait until next month to do that. Why? Because I wanted to hit my success club every single month in the beginning, right?
Yep.
And then when I told myself, I'm like, why am I limiting myself? You know what? If it came down to a time where I don't hit it, I don't hit it. I'm like, I'm not stressing that. I'm doing this to help others and, you know, and of course to help myself. But as long as I'm staying consistent and pushing myself to my max, then if I'm doing the best that I can, then that's that. But I will say over even the 5 years, not that I have ever thought about like quitting, like except in the beginning, but it's been more of like there's still stuff that comes in my head. I'm like, I'm never going to be like them. That whole comparison thing, or like, I'm never going to be good enough to do this, or like, you know, and what am I not doing right? Or why isn't it going like this or that? I still have those. And that's again, where I have to remind myself, but the more that you talk about those things, the more that's what comes. It's like your inner, what was it that I just heard recently? It's like you can put on a front or say that everything's okay, but it's all that inner stuff. The more that you keep talking about it, shows up on your outer appearance. Mm-hmm. So I always tell myself, and you guys, you know, again, you probably have heard this over and over, the words of affirmation, waking up, telling yourself, envisioning that life. Like, I'm helping people today. I don't care. Like, I'm doing this because of this. I am good enough. I am unique. You know what? I might not be a top coach, but that's not my goal to be a top coach either. If that's on your list, great. That's you. That's not me.
Have you read You Are a Badass?
I've listened to it probably about 4 times. Except I've learned that I have to tell my kids earmuffs or not to listen to it with my kids, because that was the first time I started listening to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, earmuffs. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm like, I didn't know that was coming out.
I just believe what she says about, whatever you put out into the world comes back to you. So if you're negative, if you feel negative and you're talking to yourself negative, that's what you're going to have. But if you're positive, it's going to come right back to you. Right. And if you're religious, it says it, life and death is in the power of the tongue. What you speak life into is going to bring life. What you speak death into is going to bring death. So if you're speaking death over your business, it's going to be death. Just saying, like, you have to stay. And it is, like I said, every day, mind battle every day. It's not going to stop. Tom, I saw you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
Yeah, it was about you were talking about messages, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you say you don't get to them all. Say you do something today. Do you write down or leave off where you left so you can get to the oldest ones again tomorrow, or how do you do that?
Now, do you usually do your messages on your computer?
iPad, yeah. Or my phone, whichever one I have in my hand.
So I try to shy away from doing iPads or phones, so I'm not sure how I really wanted to message Facebook and be like, why don't you have unread messages? Because if you're on your computer, if you go to more and you hit unread, it shows me only the unread messages. So I'll go down to the bottom again and look at this person's from Tuesday. When was Tuesday? A couple days ago. And I've actually gotten then probably the most consistent it's been. Reading the compound effect, right? But anyways, so I'll go through, figure out where I need to go into and just go that way. But I know that for your iPad and for a phone, you can't do that. So I really think it should be done that way. But, you're going to have to just scroll down through until you reach that. I've had to do that before because there was times where I only had my phone that I could utilize it, and I didn't want to be unproductive. So just going through down at the very bottom and then going up and going from there. But yeah, don't be afraid not to respond to somebody. Trust me. Like I said, they're going to be there. If you're staying consistent in everything else, they'll still be there.
Lindsay, did you have a question?
I can't even remember it anymore. I'm sorry.
Okay. She didn't want to interrupt you, so she messaged me.
It was a while ago. I had my hand up.
Oh no. See, I'm bad. I could talk forever. I mean, I really could sit here and talk over and over and over.
Well, it's 9:00, so I'm going to go ahead and let these guys off. Plus, I got to do some packing.
Don't forget your picture, Charlie.
Oh, I'm glad you reminded me. Let me take a picture.
You can't give me crap.
Okay, you ready?
Lindsay, look up.
Okay, I got it.
Yay.
You look goofy, Charlie.
I don't know. I don't care. No, I do, but it's okay.
That's normal, bud. Thanks, Ashton.
No problem. Thank you guys for staying on a little extra there.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Ashton.
No problem. I hope that was good info and that you guys are full of knowledge and, again, just de-stress yourself, get your mindset right, and rock it out. Stay strong towards the end of the year, because that's where most people fall off. We've got so many things that we think about, and this is really the time to be like, hey, listen, I'm taking control of this, and because it's valuable. stay strong in your values, and you guys can grow this to where you want to, as long as you believe in that.
I'm always talking about your level of belief. Where is your level of belief? Because once you get there, once you believe that you can do this and believe that it's real, it's impossible to quit. It's impossible. So I'm still here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, Ashton. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, go boys.